This is Halia Hill, and you are listening to Tanya Tate presents Skinfluencer Success podcast.
This is Halia Tate. Skinfluencer Success. You are listening to Tanya Tate presents Skinfluencer Success. How can you be a top earner when using premium social media? My guest has had a long, multifaceted career in the adult entertainment industry. She's successfully worn all the hats: dancer, porn star, cam model, just to name a few. And now she's a model ambassador with SextPanther. When she's not humiliating a fan by request or by playing the home wrecking bimbo, she's helping other models to find their paths to success on the platform. She's currently one of the top earners on SextPanther. Welcome, Halia Hill, to the Skinfluencer Success podcast.
Hi, Tanya. How are you?
I'm doing great.
You look beautiful, by the way.
Oh, so do you, Halia. Halia's keen. I can already see. She's already like, I'm ready. Tell everyone
Oh,
who you are.
I'm always ready for you. Don't worry. So I'm Halia Hill. So I was in the porn industry for a very short period of time in 2008. Kind of let that die down a little bit when I started getting into the whole online sex work and everything, which blew up. SextPanther, OnlyFans, all that kind of stuff. Kind of came back. I kind of came back in the industry and brought the name back. So it was kind of interesting how many people still recognize that name in 2022 or 2021-ish from 2008. So it actually, honestly, it was pretty amazing to come back and everything, and it just kind of blew up. But I'm here right now to basically tell you guys how I got to where I got so quick and what I did to get to it.
Okay, so you made some movies back in 2008, and then you took some time out. So you're going to be sitting here, and you are a model ambassador, so we are going to get there. So what other skills is your background? Because people are going to be sitting there and thinking, okay, so this girl, she did some porn, she's now on SextPanther. So what other skills have you brought? What other career assets are you bringing into your career right now?
Just being very personable. I've learned that a lot from being in the porn industry, dancing especially. I also have an esthetician license. I have a real estate license. So I'm very, very good at talking to people. And that does a lot. That really, when you learn how to kind of make people comfortable or start a conversation and keep a conversation going, it really goes a long way. And especially in those two fields, you really learn how to make people feel comfortable around you as well. And as silly as it sounds, when you go into the adult industry, or especially SextPanther, and it's one-on-one interaction with everybody, it really helps. It really, really helps keep people engaged and keep people coming back to you.
So I want to know then, Halia, so you did some movies. You keep talking about SextPanther. I want to know a little bit more about you before we get into that. She's like, come on. So back in 2008, the way that you made the money in the adult industry really was shooting for some of the production companies. I saw you shot for Peter North, you shot for some of the production companies, and you then took some time out from the adult industry, and then you came back. So when you came back, did you come back in as cam model, or did you come back into premium social media? What was the step back in?
Like I said, 2008 was porn. Went into dancing for a few years, kind of stopped for a little bit. Then I came back in about June of 2021, more of like the subscription based kind of stuff. And then kind of fell into the website that we're getting into. But yeah, I just basically, started, like an OnlyFans or something like that. And just kind of popped out like, hey, I'm here. How are you guys? You know what I mean? It was just came out of nowhere kind of. And honestly, it worked out really, really well.
And I guess because it was during the pandemic, so we were all looking for different things to do while we're sitting at home. It was that kind of what prompted just kind of being at home and thinking, well, what can I get into that can still make me some revenue while I'm at home?
Yeah, I just, I switched to having a normal job and everything for a while, and I was like, I don't really feel like going to work anymore. I know it sounds terrible, but the pandemic did that to us, you know? You wake up and you're like, I don't want to do anything, you know? So, yeah, I was just kind of like, what am I doing? I kind of look better than I did back in 2008. Maybe I should just give this another try now that, we have moved a lot from the big production companies that own all of your
Yeah.
content to you basically managing yourself. It
Yeah.
was one of those things. I was like, let's just try it out, see how it goes. And here I am. It took off.
Yeah. And it's interesting, isn't it? We were stuck at home, and it's like, we say, like, I've worked a 9 to 5 job.
Hmm.
I've worked in a bar, and maintained the office job during the week and overtime and blah, 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 blah. So I'm used to like getting up and doing like a daytime job. But it's funny, it's like you said, I don't want to go to work, but we're not going to work. When you're in the adult industry, you're not like going to work. You're not going to an office.
Exactly.
However, you're still working, but it's in a completely different way, and it's in more of a fun
Hmm.
way. And I love that you said before, it's about chatting with people and making people feel good. And at the same time, you feel good. When you get up and then you start your day, and then that you've made someone have some like really strong emotions inside them. How does that make you feel?
Honestly, it's kind of empowering, you know. With this industry and everything like that, especially with how people can be so anonymous when they talk to you and all of that kind of stuff. I've had people confide of some of their deepest, darkest secrets, things that have happened to them in the past, and you're kind of like their therapist in a way, but not like actually a therapist. You're just kind of helping them through whatever it is that they need to get through or explore certain things that they've always wanted to explore, but they're not comfortable in doing it in person just yet. So it's kind of nice. You're really actually kind of helping people with sexuality and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Do you know, you've just touched on something. I have had people confide stuff in me,
Hmm.
on SextPanther. I have to say, because I know, Halia, you are exclusively on SextPanther, but I am also on, OnlyFans and SextPanther. They're the two places that you can find me at, where I chat. And
Right.
I have to say, OnlyFans, the very quick, it's like very like get through, get through, get through. There's a lot more people on OnlyFans, and it's a different kind of payment system.
Yeah.
Whereas on SextPanther, I think you find it's a lot more intimate, and it's more personable, because someone will have a
Right.
conversation with you, and it's not just, hey, here I am and I'm ready to, explode. Like, you do
Hmm.
get that, but you also get people that literally, some guys come on and it's not like, everyone thinks, oh, it's just going to be all sexual. It's not all sexual. Sometimes, it can be something about you have guys that come on and share, their life in the truck, and
Right.
they'll literally take pictures of where they are now in like the middle of nowhere. Here I am in my truck. Or, you know, a guy that is going through some emotional changes and will literally sit down and like spill everything to you. And you're right, it is like being like a therapist for
Hmm.
some of the guys. And I've had it where they've spilt it and they've come back and then they've updated me. And then eventually they said, you know what? I'm good now. I'm going to leave the platform, but I want to thank you for being there for me. And, and that like really makes my heart big to think they really
Yeah.
did have a problem. Um, and they've kind of worked through it. And I've been one of the people that have helped them to get through that just by
Hmm.
listening.
I love it. But
Yeah.
especially with the different platforms, you brought up OnlyFans, every platform has like a unique thing about them. And not every platform is going to be for every person. So for me personally, yes, I keep gravitating towards SextPanther. That is, my exclusivity and all that kind of stuff. But I know so many girls and so many models that are so successful on OnlyFans, and they just don't really like the one-on-one intimacy as much as the other one, and that's okay. They like more of that subscription base. They like being able to, work it like that. And I just wanted to throw that out there too, because I don't want it to sound like I'm targeting just one thing and it's like this is so much better than everything else. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, you're right though. It is. It works different for different people.
Mhm.
We have
Totally.
different successes. So, I love Sex Panther. So I'm gonna get down because this is I'm so blessed that I've got you on, Halia, because me being a user of Sex Panther in that I'm a model and I talk to my fans on there, I want to know exactly the tricks, the tools, the things, because you are so willing to share it. Being a model ambassador for Sex Panther, you know the ins and outs, and you're willing to share it with us. And there are going to be people that are listening right now, either guys or girls that are users, as in, they're the fan and they're going to be getting the experience. But also, there's going to be other models as well that are going to be sitting there that are going to be listening, that might be thinking, if they use SextPanther already, what are the things I can do to be more successful? And if they've not
Right.
used SextPanther yet, they might be thinking, well, how do I sign up? How do I get onto this? So let's just start off. Give me a spiel. Tell me why is SextPanther different from other platforms?
There's going to be some things that are similar, but I would definitely say that SextPanther takes a lot of things and makes it unique and makes it their own instead of, you know, one thing with this way, one thing with that way. So one big game changer I love is the internal traffic. You are able to utilize this. You don't have to be blasting socials and hope that people find you through your links only. They have such a great way for internal traffic to find those models to be able to interact with you and everything. So that is probably like one of my main biggest hypes about it is you don't have to bring your own. It's always good to, but you can utilize theirs. Another one is their chargeback protection. I know it's kind of iffy and everything like that on every single platform, but they offer up to $2,500 in chargeback protection, which is a huge game changer for the models.
Yeah.
The tips and everything, as long as you're, doing what you're supposed to be doing, that would be case by case. But, I can't speak for all models. Some models might be offering things they shouldn't be, and that would not be, that would not be covered basically. So that's another one. Um, I like that, the flexibility of it and everything. You could basically pick up your phone and start talking to people whenever you feel like it. You could turn your video calls on and off whenever you feel like it. You can go to Target and finish your texting conversations whenever you want to.
I still got mine in
Exactly. So,
there. I'm like, check.
there's so much about this platform. I mean, they have their own app, that makes it very convenient to get your notifications, text, answer calls, video calls, whatever. Some models use their, the iPhone or Android, whatever, as their only device that they stream on. I mean, there's just so much to this platform that you can do and utilize to, get to being a lot more successful. And they continue to make improvements and give all the models exactly what they need to continue that.
So I actually should have said, what is Sex Panther? Really, that should have been the first question. Of course, I know what Sex Panther is. You know what Sex Panther is. But people are listening might be like, well, what is it? Sounds so excited.
So a SextPanther is basically a platform, and it's going to allow adult entertainers, content creators, cam models, porn stars, all of us, sex workers, to basically interact with your fans more on a one-on-one level. So, you think of all these awesome campsites where, you get the big room and everything. This is just, we don't offer that right now. I don't think that's even a consideration just because you're paying for the one-on-one. That's
Yeah,
exactly what
I,
people are
I
coming
love
to is to
I love the
you.
one-on-one. I
Yes.
oh, don't make it so there's like 50,000 people at once. I love it's my interaction one-on-one with the guy, whether
Mhm,
it's on the phone, whether it's on video chat, whether it's by instant message. You know, I I
mhm.
I I've got to say, on OnlyFans I do one-on-one, but it's really fast. It's fast.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fast paced. Like, it's you can send the message and then you wait to see who responds, and then it's like it 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 just it's a different kind of feeling on OnlyFans compared
Right.
to the SextPanther just feels so much more intimate because it feels more like it's a real-time conversation. If that
Right.
message comes to my phone, I get the notification on the app that someone's messaged me, I'm right on it. And then I'm
Hmm.
texting. Whereas with OnlyFans, it's like you gotta wait and wait and wait. You know, you get down, you get down, you get down the list, and then you get down. And then eventually you may have got through everyone, but sometimes people are going to go back to the top because they've tipped you. So you go back to the top and you deal with the tippers. And then there's just some days when you're just like, I don't know if I've got time to talk to everyone on here.
Right.
SextPanther, they guaranteed my response and it's almost immediate.
Yep. And that was something I was going to bring up, but you brought up how somebody adds you and you message them. That is also something I wanted to bring up because when I talk to new models, they go, so it says somebody added me. What do I do? Reach out to them. Make it stick out. Don't, hi babe. Hi babe's not going to get you anywhere because every single girl is probably doing that. So say something that's going to grab their attention. Now, if you added this model, what would you make you go like, whoa, okay, look for that response. Really fast, I'm just going to nail this one out since we're already on it so I don't have to go back. Something really popular too is a quick free audio unlock. So I'm just going to make up a name. I don't know if this is even a user. I'm going to say Halia Hill 12345. Hi Halia, how are you doing today? What are we doing? Like, what do you want to get into? And send it as a free audio unlock so they know it's you. With some of these
Yeah.
websites, people get a little like, is this really the model or something like that?
Yeah.
They just get a little hesitant, especially, I don't know why. They just always have those doubts. But that kind of like stands out to them. And that makes them
Mhm.
kind of like, oh, okay. And it makes them want to respond to you over all the other models that are blowing them up.
I like that. So because I started sending some little audios because I was thinking, me just saying hi, hi love, how are you? Fancy a chat, which I do write that. I do write that a lot. Just when I see somebody add me that's got credits. But then I started doing like a little audio voice as well and just sending that.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it's free and not everyone unlocks a free audio.
they don't. Another thing that one of the girls does, it's really cute. I don't know if I'm allowed to name her name, but she has a very cute intro video that she says, "Hi, I'm so and so." And she gives like a little 5 second, like, and this is me or whatever. I'm not going to put her out there and give her lines or anything. I've seen the video, it's super cute. But, something like that, they're like, I kind of like her vibe, like, and then they start engaging with her. It's not anything nude or anything like that. It's just a cute, like, hey, how are you? You know what I mean? This is me kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's also a good way to try to get them to engage. But try not to get too mad at them if they don't respond right away, because sometimes they log on, they add you, and they want to come back later. And they're not looking to respond right then and there. They're just adding you as a bookmark. So they're like, hey, I'll call her later or when I can get back on less. So just because you don't always get a response does not mean that you're never going to.
Any of you that are listening that want to, succeed, start making notes. I'm in
Well,
my
I have
notes right now on iPad.
I have some more information for you in regards to those notes. Is SextPanther will also be releasing a model resource center, which we've already gotten very heavy into the writing. We're going to have a lot of this stuff in this resource center in articles, videos for all the models to go ahead and read, basically. And yes, I do have a lot of more in-depth information about when you reach out to a contact, try this, try that, you know what I mean, see what works for you or something like that. So I have all this written out. I can always you know send it your way if
Share
you don't want to go too if you don't
share
want to do too much work right now. I already have this done.
And then, so the Model Resource Center is going to be available online at a future date for all of the models that are on SextPanther.
Yeah, yeah, and it's going to be
That's great.
awesome. So I'm really bad at writing. I'm good at video and I'm good at audio and just saying what's on my mind very, very clearly. I can't write. So I just sit there and I record myself talking, 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 hitting all these points, and I send it to our awesome, awesome girl. She reached out to you yesterday. She puts everything into
Kathy.
professional words. Yeah, she puts everything into,
Yay.
she's very, very experienced with all that stuff. Gosh, she's been doing this kind of stuff for over 10 years. So she's got a lot of experience. She's awesome with words. And she just makes all the magic happen for me. She's like, I really like this audio. Your pet just knocked your ring light over. I'm like, yeah, sorry. I'm like, ah, crap. Like that's how my audios go to her. So she has to kind of cut and see what she has to put in. But she's awesome. She's amazing at everything she does for us and stuff. So yes, everything that I have to share with you guys as well is likely going to be in that model resource center as well. And it's already been sent over to SextPanther for approval to make sure we can make that official.
I'm excited,
Yeah.
so I'll definitely be asking you to send me copies through once Kathy. Yeah, you did. You introduced me to Kathy yesterday, so I'm excited for
Yes.
that because it's great to, I know there's the support and there's the team and there's the technical team, and they're dealing with a lot of stuff. But this is nice that there
Hmm.
are actual other models and other, easily access people with likes of Kathy. I've got something that I wanted to run by her, which is a little bit more technical, and she's going
Yeah.
to go over it with me. And I like that she's like, yeah, hey Tanya, let me know when you want to message, when you want to talk it over. So I'm like, okay, I'm prepping for my podcast, but once I've got that over, let's talk.
She's very, very, very sweet and very personable and very easy to
Oh,
talk to. So just so
great,
you know, whatever you have to throw her way, she'll be like, "Yeah, keep it coming." She's very sweet.
great.
So don't ever be afraid to contact her at any time whatsoever for any issues that you might be having. She's awesome.
Yeah, because great, sometimes with any app, sometimes like, there's a little blip or sometimes has a little crash, or
Right.
sometimes you think, oh, there's a new update and well, how does it work and what's changed? And sometimes, you don't always know. It just looks a little bit different. So it's nice to have someone that I can reach out to and be like, hey,
Mhm.
Kathy, I've got a question about this. And I know that she's going to be able to get back to me like super quick.
Yeah, we're doing those pink banners that you see on the browser. We're really trying to be like, hey, get those up as soon as we roll in like something out so all of our models know that it's available. There's a possibility that we will be able to do announcements in the Model Resource Center for all the models to see a bit quicker as well. I'm not 100% sure on that. It is a possibility, but we are basically trying to really work on the communication with the
Yeah.
models and just getting the word out a lot better and just improving in every single way that we possibly can for the platform.
And I think as a user, both for the fan and the model, I think that's really important when it comes to a platform because we all know that there's certain platforms that you reach out and you're going to get a person sitting in another country that is reading from a textbook that gets back to you like
Right.
ages later, and you're just like, okay, this is not personable at all, and they don't
Yeah.
understand the question, or they pick out the middle bit of your question and they answer
Right.
that, or they refer
Yeah.
you to a link online. Go and read this. Well, if I could read that, love, I wouldn't have actually messaged you, would I? I would have been able to read the answer myself.
Right.
So,
We don't do that.
yeah,
Where they're awesome, honestly, but sometimes they are a bit slower getting back to models. That is something that I hear all the time. Why emailed support? They didn't get back to me and stuff. And I'm like, they really are working all around the clock at all times, whether it's improvements or catching up and stuff. And we have to consider sometimes too that some of our support people, they have to ship through what like is an actual issue versus I've heard models like, say, well, I'm reporting all the users that have no credits. And I'm like, well, why are we reporting all the users that have no credits? They could have just made their account and they're going to add them later, or they made their account and they're going to come back later, or they ran out and they're not ready to replenish yet. Like we
yeah,
can't we can't exactly punish users because they don't have credits the second that they added you. So when support's getting all these ding 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 ding, you know what I mean? Like they're kind of like, whoa, okay, this one, no, this one, yeah, and they're
yeah.
human too, so they're trying their best. They really, really are, and they're very, very open ears. They're never annoyed if anybody has any type of suggestions. They're always open to hearing everything out and trying to make everything be utilized so much better for all the models. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I know they sometimes get a little bit of heat here and there. They're
I like
awesome.
that as
They're
well,
sweet.
that they're open to listening to ideas,
Oh
because
yeah.
sometimes it is like the models using it. And I know, I've suggested things before to, the owner of Sex Panther, and he's been like really open to listening to me and,
Yes.
testing things out with me. He's asked me, hey, do you want to come and test this out and be one of the models that, test this new beta? And I've gone, you know what, great, let's do it. And I love that I can be involved and
Right.
I can be given feedback to be like, hey, this is good, and this would be nicer if we could do this. You know,
Right.
there's a lot of things that you see and you think, oh, that would be nice to be duplicated. Like the fact when they brought in how much the fans spent, so we can easily now see how
Mhm.
much does the fan spent on us,
Right.
which is nice. So we can see, well, is this guy, is he a big spender? Is he really loyal? Or, if he's just an occasional, not that it makes
Mhm.
no difference, but because you're still going to interact with them. But it's nice to be like, well, hey, they're asking for a video chat. And
Right.
then straight away you can see, well, have they probably video chatted before? Yes, they have. So they're probably genuinely asking. Whereas some guys, they ask for a video chat, but you don't know always,
Right.
if they're going to carry it through. Maybe they're asking a lot of girls. Maybe they're just dreaming about the fantasy of video chatting with you, which is great.
It,
It's
yeah. They think they're ready, and then they're like, "Oh my God, I'm too nervous to talk to him. Not right now." And then they kind
yeah,
of disappear. I'm sure you've seen that many times.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
get it all the time too. And I'm like, babe, stop bailing on me. And they're like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, don't do that to me. You make me feel bad.
So how do you deal with that? Because that's actually one of like the big things. For me, if someone's asking, a lot of the time the fans will come on, they'll say, are you available for a call? And then I'm like, well, is it an audio call or a video call? Because sometimes it makes a difference. If you're standing in the kitchen with your rubber gloves doing your dishes and it's a video call and you've got to get into your bedroom and get the door locked and feeling a lot more sexy, we've got to know. So how do you deal with, run me through some scenarios of, when someone says, for a call.
So another thing, this is actually very, very new. I'm sure you saw that we no longer have the inactives. So now we're getting all of our users showing up on recently active tab. A lot easier where you kind of hit the recently active and you're like, who is this user? And you click and you see, wow, this person added me in 2021 and they haven't said anything. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'll hit a quick voice note. I'm like, hey babe, I see that you added me in like August of 2021. I haven't heard from you. Why don't you want to play with me? Kind of sweet talk them a little bit, and they'll open the free unlock and be like, oh, oh. And honestly, sometimes these guys go on adding sprees and they add hundreds of models, and that's why you get lost. It's nothing against you. It's just that they got so excited when they made this account. They're like, I want her, I want her, her. And then by the time that they're done, they're like, uh, they're going through their feed and they're, oh, I'll pick this one. And, coincidentally, you never show up because you're farther down or something like that. So sometimes that free audio unlock where you know that they heard it instead of reading it is a lot more personal. And sometimes you'd be surprised. It's been working this morning where I'm just like, babe, you added me like 5 months ago and why don't you want to talk to me? I'm like, I'm so sorry. Do you want to do a video call? You know what I mean? Like it actually works a bit more than just reading. So honestly, those audios and everything of just letting them hear you as opposed to just writing something out it goes a long way. You're actually making that strive to grab their attention and tell them like, hey, like I'm trying to interact with you personally. Why don't we do this? it will it'll stick with them a little bit more. So I would definitely utilize the audio feature. Honestly, I never did when I first started, and then people are like, "Can you make me an audio of this?" And I'm like, "Okay." And all like ever since then, my audios just took off.
I think it's easy because you can just pick up the phone, can't you? You can just click record audio there
Yes.
and then just
Yeah.
click it, and it's like it's done. And those ones, the first one obviously is free because you're trying to get them to interact. So say if they
Yeah.
reply back, oh, yeah, whatever they're going to say back. Do you start typing? Do you start
Yeah.
audio still or
Right
type?
back to typing. Now that I got their attention and I'm on their mind, now I go back to typing and everything like that. Unless they want me to continue the audios, then I'll go into what they want me to do. And obviously, that would be what I normally charge. But Normally it goes right into text or, hey, I'm so sorry. Can we do a video call? Yeah, I'm here right now. Boom, video call happens. Then, you know what I mean? There's no reason for you to, send an audio back. Yes, I'm here right now. They're already watching for your response. So,
Yeah.
it's just about grabbing their attention initially and just keeping the momentum.
So now you've got the momentum. Now here they are. They're ready. They're ready for action. So how do you know which one wants to talk and which one wants to play?
You don't until you just I ask them what they're into. I honestly will just try to find that out and say, well, can you tell me what you're into? So, we can I can familiarize myself with you and what you're looking for. And, oh, I like some people, oh, well, I want to talk to you first before see if we click. Okay, cool. Then I know that we want to sit and chat a little bit, and I'll go from there. And some people go, oh, I'm into this, this, and this, and it's their fetishes and kinks and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, how do you want to go about this? Do you like to video call? Do you like phone calls? Do you want to text? I could do audios. I do, on my slower times, I do live audio and video replies for them that are customized to what we're talking about. Obviously, those are never reused. I just delete them as I, come in and just basically try to keep them engaged and everything like that. But definitely, jumping on them as fast as possible, respond to them as fast as possible. If you're letting them sit there for 10 minutes or something and then you get back, they're going to be like, she doesn't even respond on time. You know what I mean? So they're going to
Yeah.
lose interest really fast. Stay on it, stay consistent. Consistency is probably my biggest piece of information when it comes to SextPanther is be consistent with everything you do.
Yeah, I like that. It's like jumping on it. Sometimes it's like you're in the middle of something and you get it and you're like, oh, I'll reply in a minute. And then you write 10 minutes have passed and you're like,
Right.
oh, sugar. But sometimes like you're literally just sitting on top of your phone and you're just like, this is great, just
Hmm.
waiting for it. But we are both successful on Sex Panther,
Hmm.
and I think you're right in that one of the reasons is because we jumped on it, we're on it. And I guess the guys can see, is there's somewhere that's on your profile that says whether you're a fast replier.
Yes.
So I'm figuring we've both got you might be a little bit more fast than
Yeah.
me, Halia. But
I have a
it's
crazy setup. I have an
like,
insane setup, so it's very hard for me to miss anything whatsoever. I'm actually on one of my three laptops. But I have like a whole my entire room where you guys see all those pretty lights and everything where half my pictures come from. I actually have a Mac Mini hooked up to my TV, which is a 70-inch screen, so I can leave my messages on at all times, and I have a wireless keyboard and mouse. So if I want to just hang out in my
oh,
room, I can literally sit there and just text all the guys and everything like that from like my bed or something. I don't even have to use my phone half the time. So but when I'm around the house, if I'm in the kitchen or something like that, I'll definitely bring my phone with me so I can see everything popping up. And especially with the app, that is going to make your life 100 times easier. I'm very quick because you have to be quick. You are going against over 15,000 models right now. So if they lose interest in you, the chance of them coming back is kind of low because there's always going to be somebody else. And that's why you
yeah,
always want to just make sure you grab them right then and there. Even if you're busy, even if you're out right now, say, this guy really wants to video chat with you right now, but you're at the grocery store, it doesn't matter. Respond to him right away. Be like, hey, babe, I just ran to the grocery store. I promise you I'm going to be home in about 20 minutes. If you could please wait for me, that would be awesome. If not, I totally understand and I hope to connect with you another time. But make sure that you recognize them. You know what I mean? These guys want to be like, not called out, but they want to see that you see them. And I hear it all
yeah,
the time like, I didn't think that you were going to say hi to me. Why? Why wouldn't I say hi to you? Well, because, well, I don't know, because your ranking is really high. I was like, I would never like let you just pass me by unless I actually did not see it. You know what I mean? So, just jumping on that. That also brings your quality, your energy, your interactions, all of that consistency into one. If you keep delivering all the same consistency, people are going to go, oh, I tried these other five models and they were okay and everything, but this one right here is always on top of her stuff. You know what I mean? And they gravitate
yeah.
back towards you a lot more often. So that's why I always stress the consistency stuff because once you put yourself out there, yes, you're going to get that return.
So that was one of my other questions actually. It's like I want to ask you a few questions about, how do you get new fans, and how do you maintain your loyal fans, and how do you make those new fans become loyal fans? So start right at the beginning. How do you attract a new fan? So a guy, he lands on SextPanther, and it is different from OnlyFans. OnlyFans, unless they know the link, Tanya Tate is my
Yeah.
username on SextPanther and OnlyFans. So unless they know that direct URL on OnlyFans, they're not going to find me. Whereas on SextPanther, the guy might come and he clicks on, and then he's like bombarded with all these other models. And it's, how
Yeah.
do you stand out?
Well, I stand out with, like I said, the audio greeting, or what I do. I don't really utilize the mass message feature a ton because guys will feel spammed. I do use them for unlocks and everything, paid unlocks and stuff. But say, I talked to Tanya 10 days ago, and I just saw you pop up on recently active, and Tanya was into, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna throw something, high heels or something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and be like, hey, are you still thinking about those high heels or something like that? I'm just trying to keep this very PG. If I was gonna explain like direct fetishes, it's not gonna be PG anymore. So I'm just making stuff up for you. But like, hey, so did you ever get those high heels that we were talking about? And Tanya would be like, okay, this is definitely not a mass message. This person is actually like asking about, like our last interaction. Go read back. Go see what you guys were talking about. Oh, he told me his name was Steve. Steve, what are you doing right now? Don't you miss me? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like that sticks out to them because they're getting, they have 50 models added and all they're getting is these spammy mass messages sometimes. And then there's one with their name on it. They're like, oh, well, she actually pays attention to me. And I'm not saying anything bad about some of the models or anything. I'm just saying the way that the mass message versus individual messaging makes a big difference. So that is one way. Some of the models are going to absolutely kill me right now when I drop this one fact, but how to attract more people. Well, we know about the explore feed. We'll touch on the explore feed if needed. The
Yeah.
number one place that people will find you is the online now tab. And the way that you get onto the front of the online now tab is to send out individual text messages very consistently. So I don't know if you've ever noticed on the home page where suddenly you see your picture right there on that online now on the front page, and you're like, oh, there's me. That's how you do it. Just simply sending out a single text message. And that is where guys will go, and that's where they look for models to see who's online now. And that's how a lot of
Yeah.
us get spotted, a lot of us get added, and all that kind of stuff. So maintaining is just the very personal interaction, reaching out to them when you see them online, make sure it's very personal. That's basically what I do at home. And sometimes I don't even have to try because our first interaction stuck in their head so much that they log on to come back to me. I mean, I'm very high energy, especially on my video calls and stuff. I'm very like animated and everything. That sticks in their head. Um,
Yeah.
you know, the quality and stuff. What I'm streaming on right now is very, very clear. It's very
Yeah.
bright. I always keep it very bright, good lighting, and they just know exactly what they're going to get every single time. They don't feel like it's a risk or a loss or anything. Also, I'm just going to hit this one really fast. Pricing. I keep it very low, so I also get, I don't know if this is okay to say, Minutemen. They're ready to go in the morning. They just want to see a pretty girl on their screen and they want to go. They're going to validate my $14.50 minimum pricing, over something that's a little bit higher because they know that they're not going to be on the call very long. They're like, I'm going to only be there for a minute. So they're going to choose me. It gets to be a lot of work sometimes when you get a bunch of very, very small calls, but you know what I mean? They do feel a little more safe. It's not as much of a loss, and I'm just competing with all of the other pricing and all that kind of stuff. So, but they really do appreciate my lower pricing. And when I checked this morning, I was actually ranked number 2 in video calls overall. So it is working.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, it's hard to like know where your pricing fits. So when you do
You got to
first join,
mess with it.
yeah. So for me, when I joined, I guess what I would do is look at other girls that I might feel that I'm kind of similar to in terms
Yeah.
of I don't know, like maybe other MILFs, maybe other porn stars, maybe other girls that I've worked with, people that I know. And I think, well, I'll look at them and see what they are. And then I'll try and figure the pricing. And then maybe I'll tweak the prices slightly. Um, and then it's kind of been for me like a long term
You're right.
jiggling around. And it's because I'm a mom, I have a family, it's very difficult for me to just do like 1 minute video calls. It
Yeah.
doesn't work. So you've also got to look at your circumstances as well. So it's
Yeah.
great because you're getting all the 1 minute guy is coming in, and it's showing you overall are making more money on video chats because you're number
Well,
two.
you also have a bigger name too, so that is a big factor as well. Keep that in mind. You know what I mean? If you have a bigger name, you are gonna probably be able to bring in the higher pricing. And so that works perfectly for you. I am a quicker one, I like to go, 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 go. So that's just why I do it that way. But compared to maybe somebody that's newer in the industry that doesn't really have a name, your pricing would not work appropriately for them.
Yeah.
They would
Yeah.
just be looked past and everything, not in a bad way, but this is just the mentality that a lot of the users have. So for you, they're like, well, I only signed up because she's like my favorite or something and I want to
Yeah.
talk to her. They're signing up to talk to you and they're paying the price because of who you are.
Yeah.
So, but I do, I just get a ton of volume and stuff like that on there and it just works really well. So for me personally, and for a lot of the girls that aren't like as big, you know what I mean? I always recommend just keeping it not as long and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So it's just finding out where you fit.
Yeah,
And then don't be afraid to kind of play around with it as well.
no, not at all. I did it. I mean, gosh, I probably started at like $5 a minute. I went up to $8 a minute. Then I'm down to 7.25 a minute. It's okay to be flexible and see what's attracting people, what's not, and all that kind of stuff. So that's basically a trial and error is always the way that you're probably going to learn best instead of somebody just telling you. But I highly recommend if you are newer to start a little bit lower and
Yeah.
gradually raise it. And, it all depends too on what you're doing on there because there are some models that aren't comfortable with doing more hardcore acts and they want to keep it very, vanilla, I guess I could say. And that's totally fine, but you can't be charging $20 a minute if you're really not doing that much on there because then the guys are going to not be very happy, and it's going to
Not
work
gonna work
against them where they're
return.
right, right, right. And I'm not saying they're not worth $20 a minute in any shape, way, or form. I'm just saying if you're not offering as much, you know what I mean? We just have to be mindful of what we're setting our prices at. Nothing wrong with that or anything. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying what I've noticed in everything and how I do stuff. So definitely the pricing and stuff. Also, if you're if you do a lot of video calls or something like that, you're gonna reflect it all like that. If you do a lot of sexting, you're going to reflect your per message and your pictures and videos based on that as well. So, if you're
Yeah.
not a fan of sexting, you're probably going to jack the prices up a little bit because you're like, I don't really like this portion. So, you try to steer people other ways. So, yeah, pricing is also going to definitely make or break you as well. And, you
Yeah.
never want somebody, guys can be mean sometimes. You never want somebody to say, like, I just paid $10 a minute for so and so, and she just is not worth it. Like that will hurt.
Oh,
So,
nice.
we can't control what other people say about us, but just keep, you gotta be tough.
Yeah, bit more of a thick skin, you know?
Definitely. Especially in this industry. You go online and there's trolls everywhere just ripping people to pieces.
If people get on SextPanther to troll, they're actually paying to troll. And then the other thing as well, if, I've had guys that I'm like really not okay with whatever the things that they've said to me, then I will say to them, hey, love, I don't like being called that particular word. Like maybe we could change it to this word. And most of the time, the guys don't realize and they say, oh, sorry. But some of them will just be still mean. And,
Yeah.
you either
Yeah.
sit there and you just let them be mean to you. I've literally taken the phone away and like put it down and like just
You've taken their
I don't know
money.
what Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm just gonna leave you there while I make the bed," while he was saying a load of horrible stuff that I just wasn't comfortable with, and I'd already said, "I That's not how you talk to me,"
Yeah,
and he just carried on, so I just let him talk away thinking he was talking to me. And then he kept coming back. His profile would get deleted, and then he'd come back, and then he'd take the call, and I'd be like, "Oh, I recognize your voice," and I
there
hear him
it is.
again, and I just leave him, and then eventually you block him, and he comes back again, and I'm like, "Why did you keep spending this money to come back and say stuff?" But just for other models, do know that if you're not comfortable, there is a button, isn't there, on the customer profile,
Yes.
so you can block them and you can report them, because
Yeah.
there's a very small number of customers that will say something that is really not appropriate whatsoever for
Yeah.
anybody to hear.
I've literally had guys add me and I'm like, "What?" Like, "Okay, so what are we doing today?" And they're like, "You're ugly." I'm like, "Okay, thanks." Like, whatever. So you're always gonna get that, obviously. And I always like to tell models when they do have a hard time or, "Oh, this guy was so mean to me," and stuff. I'm like, just remember that's never a reflection of yourself. Somebody's
Yeah,
miserable, lashing out and taking it out on you, and that's not the right way. But unfortunately, that's what we deal with in here. And so just
yeah,
remember that, this has nothing to do with you. But there is one thing when it comes back to attracting people, when it comes to the explore feed. So I'm sure we know, you could post stuff on your feed, post to explore, explore similar to like Instagram or something where they have a bunch of model pictures. The more impressions that we get on there is based on how many likes we get within the 24-hour period. Always like to throw that out there because some models are like, I was deleting my pictures after 2 hours. I'm like, no, 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 that's not how you use it. Leave it up. Entice those likes. That'll broaden your chances of getting noticed a lot more, is to try to get higher likes. Usually to get on that first page is 10 to 12 likes minimum. And yeah, you'll be right on that front page and stuff where guys can find you. One big thing that I wanted to bring up, I know I was telling you before this about some things that models think is a good idea, but actually works against them, is posting free nudes. The reason why, you're totally allowed to do it. I'm not telling anyone what to do. But unfortunately, when you do that, you are actually enticing people to follow you and never interact because they know you're just going to give it to them for free. They say, why buy the whole cow when you get the milk for free? Well, why were they talk to this girl and ask her for picture swapping when she's already giving it to you for free? Why would you, for what? You know what I mean? So we always have to remember that too. Like I said, I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm just advising why it's important to not post nudity if you want more interaction. And I understand some girls are like, but I get all these ads. I'm like, but are those guys talking to you? They're just following you so they can sit in their room and do their funny things that they want to do to relax themselves for free. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because you're giving it up. So, just that's another big thing that I wanted to throw out there before we move on.
yeah. Honestly, no, I don't really give anything. I don't give anything away for free. The only stuff that I do stuff on Twitter, giving stuff away for free, but it's specifically to a brand new scene, and it's a little clip. And I guess on SextPanther, because it's more interactive, one on one, they don't want to see me necessarily with someone else. They want to see what I'm doing now.
Right.
So it's definitely
I don't do any boy girl or anything like that. I'm just me. I ride solo on there.
like,
It works out.
so,
It works out
yeah,
perfect. I mean, I get requests and I'm like, hey, I don't do it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it works out pretty well. And I mean, it's all what you want to offer. Some girls do choose to do the whole boy girl and, hardcore and stuff, and that's perfectly fine. If it works for them, it
yeah.
works for them. You know, I'm just me.
Yeah. I mean, for me, because they've seen me in a lot of movies, and I don't shoot for any of the big studios anymore, and I just shoot for myself. So it's really nice that the fans can come to me and I can send them like brand new videos of me with a guy, brand new videos of me with a girl, and straight, on the app. So they get it straight to their, sitting there on the phone, and
Right.
now they're watching brand new stuff of me. And it's, that's where you can get it from. So I wanted to ask you, touch briefly on mass messages, and you mentioned you use them just for lock-in. Tell me a little bit
Yeah.
how you use your mass message.
Well, if I have an announcement or something, I'll definitely use this too. But if I take a picture or something, I'll send it out as a paid unlock for people as a little surprise here and there. Or if I make a new JOI or something like that, if I post it on my feed, I'll also send it out and just tell them, like, oh, I made this, whatever. If they unlock it, great. If not, some people go to the feed, whatever floats their boat. Or if I have an announcement or something like that, like, hey guys, I'm going to be gone for X amount of time. If you guys have custom requests or anything, let me know now because at this date I won't be able to do it or something like that. So I only utilize it for that reason. I don't really send out mass messages like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, what's going on tonight? I save all that for individual interaction. So, the mass messaging feature is great, but we don't want to overdo it to the point where people are like, oh my God, this girl just like spams me all day long. Like I'm deleting her. So that's always an issue too. So I do kind of value the individual over the mass messaging personally, but some people do really well with the mass messages.
Yeah, I'm just curious because everyone uses it different, don't we?
Yeah.
It's finding out what's the best for you. I want to ask you because I know I've definitely been like taking so much of your time, and I love this.
Oh, you're good.
Just so many things. If somebody wants to get started on SextPanther as a model, what do they have to do?
So to be honest with you, this question comes up a lot with what are the requirements? Well, they
Yeah.
don't have a base minimum anymore, just because sometimes, if we say, oh, you need 2,000 followers on Instagram, girls will submit their Instagram and be like, well, why did I get denied? I got 3,000. And it's like, well, because your Instagram is like a family Instagram or something, like it's not an actual like persona or something like that kind of Instagram. So it's very hard. It's all case by case. But what you can do is there's always an apply now button on the website. We also started SextPantherModels.com. That also has more information for models looking to sign up, the percentages, all the FAQ and stuff for like prospective models. There's also an apply now button for anybody that you or another model would like to bring on. You do have a referral link on the website that you can send to them, and there is a little incentive from that. I don't know if they want me to
So
touch on the
it
new incentive yet, but
so if you are
but
listening and you are a model and you do want to join, you can
yeah,
ask me
you
or
can
Halia for our referral codes.
that just keep in mind they're going to look for some sort of, if you're a content creator, an OnlyFans following or a subscription based following, social media following, cam models. If you're a streammate model, chatterbait, whatever it may be, they look to see like how many followers or however it works on those
Yeah.
platforms. They will kind of take that into consideration prior to approving certain models, but it's always worth a shot. If there's some sort of denial, you can always email them and say, what was the reason for my denial? And then you'll know exactly what it is so you can go ahead and work on it. And when you're ready
Yeah.
to reapply, you can reach out again. So that's pretty easy, just an application, and you just wait for the approval basically.
Nice. So get on there.
And we learn from our mistakes on there too. I'm not going to lie. When I first started, I would send out like a free unlock of this and everything. And I'm like, oh, crap, now these people won't talk to me anymore. So I learned real fast not to do that anymore. But it's normal. You're only human. You're going to make mistakes. That's how we learn. That's how we learn the best, to grow and get better. So just wanted to throw that out there, not to ever feel bad about yourself if something does come up, or oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot to charge this person for a custom or something. It happens. It really does. And then we just know for next time. If you're not going to remember it in 5 years, then it's not worth dwelling over. That's what I always say. So
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I've
yeah.
I've done stuff where I've sent stuff unlocked and then they've opened it and I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry, I forgot to charge you. If you want to send me a little tip, then I'd really appreciate it. And sometimes, like
Hit or
the
miss.
guy's like, there you go. That's actually
Yeah.
one important question that I want to ask. How do you ask for tips? Like, really, how do you ask for tips? Because I see some girls get a lot of tips, and I don't necessarily get a lot of tips. Do you personally ask for them? And if you do, how do you ask for them?
So you have to keep in mind that some of those big tip girls are receiving tips for custom content. So they're getting a
Um,
lot of requests for custom videos and everything. So obviously, what I always tell the models, don't ever send it as a paid unlock. Collect the money via tip first. because
Yeah.
then you run that issue of them not being able to, or ignoring it basically. So what I
Yeah.
would say was like, okay, yes, of course, I can definitely do that custom for you. It's $50. All I need is for you to send the tip up front and I'll send it back as a free unlock. So that's what I say to them. Don't ever try to take that risk of trusting them to do anything like that.
Pay it
Um,
up front only.
not that it's anything bad, but some guys will just be like, eh. And then you just did that custom for no reason. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really ask for tips unless it's like a submissive and I'm like, send a tribute right now, or a drain, a findom drain or something like that. I do find out if they want like humiliating bratty, or if they want like more of the encouraging, like, don't you want to take care of me, that kind of stuff. And so it just really depends on the user, but I typically don't ask for tips like that. It's just for custom content, or I just randomly get small tips here and there. That's all.
Yeah, that's nice. I just was curious because I'm like, I do offer custom movies, but I don't like ask for tips. But I guess a lot of the
Right,
guys come to me for me rather than specifically.
right,
Well, they like to shower the money on me, but they also like to give me their money.
right.
I get something back. So, you know what? This has been really, really good, really super helpful. I'm so glad that you've come on and you've shared
Yeah.
a lot of really helpful things to everyone that's listening. The guys, go and get on, go and take a little look at SextPanther, because there are so many girls on there. And you can, of course, find me and Halia are both on there as well. And, you're feeling a bit fed up, you're feeling a bit stressed, whatever, get on, come and talk to us, reach out. And I love it. Our response is 100% guaranteed. We're always going to reply.
Mhm.
So you're not going to waste your money. You're not going to spend money on a text, and then it's just, the girl's not going to respond, because there's also a guarantee if it's within so many hours. If the girl doesn't respond, you get your money back. So
Right.
it's like a fail proof for the guys as well. So I'm going to ask you, just in one sentence, how would another model that's listening get to be in the spot where you are, being a top performer on a platform?
Your consistency. I'm going right back to the consistency with every single thing. Is that one word, whether it's your interactions, keeping them engaged, quality content, quality video calls, quality phone calls, knowing your fetishes, you stay consistent with every single time. That's going to be the key way to hook them and keep going and keep growing and everything on this platform. So, I mean, it's the one thing that boils down, is that consistency. And that even works for the pricing as well, that I said, because you can't set your prices at $4 a picture and then start sending people $10 pictures unless you agreed to that for like photo sets or something like that. Consistency, because they're going to be like, well, she advertises it for this, but she keeps upcharging. You know what I mean? You just, consistent. Just stay consistent and keep giving 100% for everything. That is my biggest thing of what brought me this day. So everything.
Nice, perfect. I love it. Thank you so much, Halia Hill. Tell everyone where they
Yes,
can
thank
find you online.
SextPanther.com/Halia Hill.
Perfect.
But
And you're on
you'll probably
Twitter and Instagram.
see my face. Oh gosh. So my links are actually on SextPanther right now. It's at the
Perfect.
bottom. So yeah, Twitter, just because it's Halia_Hill, because somebody else has my name. And then I have a different name for Instagram. So, but on my profile, all my links, that, socials and everything are right then and there. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't really do the DMs on there. So the number one spot would be on SextPanther.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to find Halia, go to sextpanther.com/Halia Hill. Thank
That's
you
me.
so much for coming on, and thank you for
Thank
looking after all of us models as well on
I'm still
SextPanther.
going.
You are amazing. Thank you.
Models can always reach out to me too for help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Tanya Tate. Skinfluencer Success.